It is interesting that whenever you have a plan, something else comes up and makes you have a conversation and say, "Hey, we should talk about this. We should talk about it." Today, we were just going to talk about U17s, talk about Brazil and Mexico not making the quarterfinals, talk about how is Nigeria the dark horse to win it. And don't worry, we'll talk about them. We will talk about them because Nigeria is carrying the African banner right now. But hey, Kenya got a win yesterday, so good for those girls. But we wanted to talk a little bit because earlier today, Concacaf announced its men and women's, and on a lesser extent, the goal of the year. No one really cares about the goal of the year, but their men's and women's player of the year were announced, and it's caused a little bit of a conversation. I think a lot of people feel a way about different players there, but I think my comments are more so in one place or the other, but we'll talk about it here. You know me, I like to talk for 2 minutes before I invite my host Billy to say a word to give him some time to rest. So, welcome to the channel again on, according to some people, your 17,000 stream today, but really just your 2.5. How are you doing today, Billy slash JD slash Trevor slash whatever your name is today?
Well, thanks for having me, Mr. African. So yes, I'm here. Thanks everyone for coming by. Yeah, I would agree that every single time you set something out, but the way of football is ever changing. Something has to pop up, and I heard um, players complaining about too much games. So if the games are too much, the news will be too much as well. You understand me? So you can't just stuck on a news. By the time you're coming out with one, you have a next topic to do some chopping up on. And I do agree that you could call into question because you had a lot of girls players. But I've just done a video chopping up Dumornay, saying what I think Dumornay is. So I'm not so worried about the girls' side, but the boys' side, Carrasquilla, over a
Mm.
year span, I don't think that he was all that good to be the one to say he's going to take it because you have several individuals that did well over that same span.
Indeed, and what we were talking
So
about
good
again.
conversation.
Yeah, it's a good conversation. So to keep everyone and to update everyone, CONCACAF just announced its two players of the year for the 2023-2024 season. And they are for the men's Alberto Carrasquilla, and then for the women's Melchi Dumornay. Fun fact, I had no idea what his name was until just now. So I just called him Carrasquilla because I'm like,
Very popular
yes,
name.
yeah. But I am interested in the conversation of the players, and I think, okay, good. Thank you, DJ Gigs, for letting me know. I didn't realize, but we're back here. We're flowing and we're ready to go. I think the interesting conversation with it is, was it deserved? Now, my counter to that is we've seen a player like, and I love a player like Alfonso Davies win player of CONCACAF's best player for how many years in a row it felt like? And how many years in a row do we say when we look at a player and say, by reputation, maybe they are the best player, but did they really deserve it for the year? Now, what makes this a little bit more interesting is if we look at who the candidates were, and I think that's where the conversation to me is more interesting. Right on the men's side, you had Leon Bailey, you had Jonathan David, Alfonso Davies, Santi Jimenez, and then Christian Pulisic. On the women's side, you had Corral, Dumornay, Adrian Leon, Ovale, Kadisha Bunny Shaw, and then Sophia Smith. Now, right off the bat, I will say this. The one thing I do struggle with these types of awards is that they are fall to fall season, or they're fall to spring season, summer. So they follow the European calendar in that sense, which is a whole conversation that just started up with MLS wanting to go into do a fall season, which I think it would be a bad idea, but it could be a good idea. We'll see. Oh yeah, I know that'll come. I'll put it. I'll put it up afterwards. But that is my thing. But I'll put it up afterwards. I do find that the award would work better if we looked at it from January till December versus looking at it from, say, the fall to the spring slash summer. Because I think it's easier to look at a year and find say, okay, 2024, this player is doing here. Because if you did that, I think you could have an interesting conversation. But let's start with the nominees. These were the 6 nominees on both sides. I'll start on the women's side specifically. There is no love for defenders. There's no love for defenders on either side, but I feel like the best CONCACAF players or some of their defenders, right? Germa from the US, arguably one of the best, if not the best defender in the world. Some would argue. Some would say Wendy Reynal is still there. Some would say other players like Wendy Reynal's teammate. Vanessa Gilles, I think, has been the most consistent throughout the year for Canada, but she didn't make it here because we're going for the glitz and glamour of the goals. I know I mentioned 2 names. Are there players you find that maybe should have been nominated and yet saw further list coming through?
Um, as you said, no space for defenders. I could say that as well. That you had some solid defenders. You talked about Giles, Vanessa Giles. I
Mhm,
thought that she had a good 1.5 year spell, which falls into 2023, 2024. Yes, and definitely she had even a better one that will be falling in this region. So for 2025, 2024, 2025. If she continues at her rate, she's definitely going to be one of them that they can't deny.
mhm,
And you talked about Germa as well. I thought that Germa was always a solid outlook for United States at all times. Yes, Dumornay, Bonishaw, yeah, all of those girls when that got called. Yeah, I would only add those 2 defenders for real. I do see where you're coming from.
mhm.
But it's just what people can see and calculate the numbers, because they had
Oh,
put out the
agreed.
numbers for all of them.
Mhm.
So are you okay with the winner for the ladies?
I think based off of the names that were there, if you factor in both country and club performance,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would give it to her. Yeah. I don't have as much
Okay.
of a problem with it. Maybe you could say, Sophia Smith had a balanced year-ish, but
Mm-hmm.
she's been on and off with injuries, so it's kind of hard to judge her based off that year. Bunny Shaw, great for club, not so much for country.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the numbers this year for it. Ovale and Corral were solid players this year. Mexico didn't have as prolific of a year as I think some would have hoped they could have had.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dumornay, I think making the jump to Lyon, playing well, young player of the Champions League, young player of the team. And then yes, maybe didn't have the platform, say like the Olympics, but I still think they were able to do a good enough job to play well for the team. So I don't have an issue with Dumornay winning it based off the players there. I think they could have had better nominees. But I think based off of the 6, I think she's the clear-cut winner, in to me at least.
But how much more better we could have had aside from Giles and Germa? How much more you would have had midfielder for United States that plays for Duvernay's team as well.
So you're thinking Lindsay Horan.
Or
Um,
Oran had a good season as well, right throughout
mhm,
the entire time. So Oran would be one of those girls that you're looking for. Maybe a
mhm,
midfielder for you, Canada as well, because remember Canada. You would say that Canada never did as well in the World Cup, but their midfielders, you had midfielders that was solid as well. So maybe I
mhm,
don't know. Leon made it. Leon performances in clutch moments brought our
mhm.
year as well.
True, but you could argue that the best clutch moments for Canada are all Vanessa Gilles. Not to say that Leon didn't perform, but the iconic moments of the year. I mean, it's Gilles post game. It's Gilles scoring against France. It's Gilles scoring
Yeah,
against
but
Colombia.
that's going to
But
be added this year.
oh, and I understand that, and that's where I started off with. I don't like how it's 23 to 24. I would rather it just been 2023 and then 2024 at the conclusion of it. Yes, that might mean if a player is starting the year well or has ending the year well, it might paint your perspective one way or the other. But I still think you have to respect it in terms of. I think that's an easier way to follow through with it. But that's me.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thanks, Omar. Yes, we know. I know. I was watching the entire thing. But tomorrow or the other day, I can add it in, break it down. I heard Simon said that it's 8 teams. Jamaica must make it to the World Cup. But I think maybe he never continued to read the entire thing. That is one team per group going through, and El Salvador is in the same group as Jamaica. So one of them not going through. It's only
Yep.
one alone can make it to the World Cup. So even with 8 teams at the World Cup, I think we're gonna still struggle to make the World Cup. So yeah, which is that's a dodgy one. But we will talk about it next time. To be honest, yes, because I have a lot
Yeah.
to say on it. So for the men's side,
Mm.
how are you looking at it?
The men's side, I think, to me, is where you can have a very fair conversation. Because I think at different points of the year, the players on this list had had stretches where they were dominating for their position in their league. And then for their national team, that's another conversation, right? Bailey, that's his best season, I would say, that he's had. It's also his healthiest season. His greatest problem to me has been availability. I mean, you can talk about the stuff off the pitch and such, but I think his
Mhm.
biggest issue has been availability. And so if he's ever available and healthy, I think he could be a good player. But that's been the problem. Last year with Villa, that's the healthiest we've seen him since his days at Leverkusen, right? Carrasquilla, I think, was a metronome throughout the year. Quite frankly,
Okay.
he was a metronome throughout the year. He was consistently good to great for club and country. He also had moments where, I mean, he gets the red against the US at Copa America. And if they don't win that game, they're in that situation. I'm not holding that against him, but I'm saying that's also the player. Jonathan David, I mean, he has seasons where it feels like half the season he's off, and then the other half he's on. That's been the player. Davies is a player who I feel like the the reputation preceded him this past year. Didn't have the best year, maybe had the biggest moment of the players here, where he scores for Bayern against Madrid in that Champions League semis. I think that's the biggest moment of the men there. Santi, great for club. Country, we're still waiting. And then Christian Pulisic, I think and if we're talking the best bag, this is where the conversation to me, because I think between both of them, I think it should have been between Carrasquilla and Pulisic, and I wouldn't have been mad if Pulisic had won it. Looking at his year that he had, also the year that they get hurt a little bit more because of um
The failures for
the
Copa
yeah,
and
Copa
stuff.
America. Yeah, maybe that holds him back because ultimately Carrasquilla beats them in the team. Yes, there are red cards of plenty in that game, but he beats them. Panama beats the U.S. in that game, so maybe they hold that against him. But for club, I mean, Pulisic going to Milan, I think, was the best decision for him career-wise.
Facts.
He has been. It can be argued, and I would agree with this argument that he's been the best Concacaf player
Yeah,
at
I think
club.
that's not an argument, but I
Uh,
think it's up there for even further. Like
mm,
maybe the best winger in the entire world at this point and form, because for the time that he's doing it,
mm,
it's a question we can ask it. I know that the other day Umza beat me and said it should not be asked. Pulisic not good, and you know those Jamaican
mm,
talks. So,
yeah,
but I'm talking about the farm. Lookman, Lookman and Pulisic is on the two best form with Mohamed Salah in the entire world.
mm,
Better form than Vinicius or Rodrigo, Leon Bailey, Saka, everybody. Saka gets a few assists from corners. Those don't count because I don't
yeah.
know what kind of Arsenal just get away with things. I'm not going to talk about Arsenal today. But none of those assists count for Saka. None, not one. That's not football. That's fraudery. But let me leave it alone. I'm talking real football players. Yes. But Carrasquilla, for me, I'm looking up his numbers. I'm not so impressed. I think
Mm,
Santiago scores 17,895 million goal, not just in Netherlands but also in Champions League. He scored a vital goal to win the entire Gold Cup. Remember that as well. and that was over Panama as well, and that was in the prime of this award. So even though he has not been the best player for Mexico, he still scored crucial goals in that period, and he had 50,000 million goals last year, you know. So I think that both Jimenez, Pulisic, Jonathan David was still better than him as well, both for club and country. So I just believe that he's in the MLS, and also he's playing in the region, and he was very good in the region. So they just compile everything because it's in the region, so everyone is seeing him way more. That's what I think, more than the others.
I think the debate with Carrasquilla, and you brought up the Gold Cup, which I had actually not even factored in at
Completely
all.
forgot that one. Yeah.
It was a tournament. Listen, okay, we should have beat the US, Canada did, and then we couldn't do that
that
in
was a
penalty.
soft team that you brought. It was not the first team.
Yeah, I don't care how soft it is. I want W's. I want results. But no, I think for me that Gold Cup run, I think that because that's if you bookend his summers, right? He bookends it by beating the US in penalties, and then they lose in the finals of the Gold Cup. And then he has a good rest of the season with Houston, starts the year off well, then goes to Copa. They beat the US, and then they make it to the quarterfinal stage of the Copa America. I think if you're looking at it in terms of that, I can see where they would say, hey, I mean, look at his last two tournaments on CONCACAF soil. That's a finals and a quarterfinals with top team. I think they may be factoring that in. I mean, you mentioned Santi again, but Santi, and whether it's fair or not, Santi, looking at the women's side, is Bunny Shaw. Great for club, but no production for the national team this past cycle. I want to be clear here before someone comes to me and says that she produces she does produce, but this last 23 to 24, she did not, or not as much. So for me, I don't have an issue giving it to Carrasquilla. I think him winning it, I don't want him to be the poster child of there's more things happening in CONCACAF than the big three, the three biggest nations. But there's a reality where there are good players in this region. And I think it doesn't hurt to reward someone who's had a good year. I also think that this year was probably the best year for it to happen because no one really, other than Pulisic, I don't think anyone really had a solid club and country year on the men's side other than Carrasquilla. But that's why I would have given it to Pulisic based off of his club and then also what he did for country. But I think what hurts him was that the disappointments of the year, right?
The reset for United States, yeah. I agree.
They had a bad Copa, and then you come out of that, and then you draw New Zealand, and you lose to Canada, and you don't look really. The team doesn't look engaged or interested. That shouldn't be on the player, but if you're looking at the captain, oh, captain, my captain, steer the ship, please. So I don't mind it. Did you think that there were other players who maybe deserved a shout on the men's side?
Yes. Ethan Pinnock, that had a beautiful year for Jamaica, and also he did miss the tournaments in the region because he had some problems. So I could see where Ethan Pinnock might be penalized because he never turned up for Concacaf some of the games. Weston McKennie was not bad last year as well. He wasn't bad for both club and country as well. So you could look at that. Robinson was good for United States and Fulham as well. So Robinson would be added to that. Dumornay Gray, he was very good for region. He did went to Saudi and did well, but he never got no game at all for Everton. So Dumornay Gray could still be, because Dumornay Gray was better than Carrasquilla in that time for the region, So that is something to look at.
No, that's fair.
Dexter Lambekisi had a good run, but that was only in CONCACAF. Yeah. All right. So I will put Blake. Blake had a very good run. Andre Blake. Someone that we should use to rival. So Andre Blake would be that one.
I don't know. Based off of these lists, it feels like it stops at the attacking line, and then there's nothing else that exists. I think if we can do this exercise, and guys, let me know if you who do you think for the 24-25 is already in the should be in the conversation based off how the season has started, how they have looked. I
Yeah,
think
Pulisic, uh,
agreed,
J- um, Jonathan David, both
agreed,
of them fighting for first place.
agreed.
Uh, Andre Blake, his season was not good in MLS, the best because he had
Hmm.
injuries, but based for country, definitely goes in it. Uh, Not the best season for him, but I still think he's doing good. Robinson back again. Robinson back
Hmm.
again because Robinson continued his form. All right.
Yeah.
Ustakio goes on this one. Ustakio goes on this one.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, Ustakio goes on this one because he has been solid for Porto. He has been
Hmm.
solid for them.
Yep.
And he has been solid for the national team. I know that you guys rate Kone. He's the new hope, the new great hope. But Ustakio is still the man for me. All right. His ability to dictate the football. I think Kone is not at that level as yet. You know, Kone is
Hmm.
physically strong, youth, and all the excitement. But Ustakio is way more of an educated footballer than him. You know?
I I I like how you say. I think Canada is entering an era with some of their players where we are having a conversation and saying the potential of these players could be something.
Mhm.
Right. You look at a Kone, you look at a Bombito, you look at like some of those young players coming up, you look at them and say the potential of them could be some. We haven't done that since, say, Alfonso Davies. And we don't really do it with Jonathan David. We but we haven't done it since that player. Um, I'd be very curious to see where they go. For me, I'm surprised you didn't say this player, but
No, I never. I was not finished.
Ugalde.
I was
Okay,
not finished. I'm going to all the players then, but you
okay.
took over. But you finish your story because I was going. You asked me questions, and you know
No,
that
it's
I
true.
am
It's
the
true. It's
man
true. It's true.
for the
I'm.
information. Yes, I would have gone to Ugalde because I was
I,
looking for the transformation. So yes,
yeah.
Ugalde goes on the list because
Mhm,
the transformation of what Costa Rica is in. Ugalde make a move in Russia now, and he's one of the best players there as
mhm,
well. And he's one of the more exciting young players in Europe overall, and
yeah.
definitely in the CONCACAF. He's one of the best players in the CONCACAF today. All right, and can rival Pulisic and Jonathan David because his league is over the MLS. You understand me? So
Yeah.
you have to give him his credit. So definitely those 3 to 4 players has to be on it.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I think to me, if we're starting this list, the three, I think David, Pulisic, and Ugalde are on the list, and it's not even a conversation on the men's side. I think those three are on the list, and then the rest we're looking to see is it more stalwarts, the Consanti and Bailey.
Ethan Pinnock should be on it, you know. The disrespect of Ethan Pinnock.
That
Yeah, Ethan Pinnock is going on it, blood.
I think he should be, but again, these lists, if you don't have W, L, R, or ST on it, or maybe
Okay.
a Cam, what best player? No,
Ethan
no, no,
Pinnock
no.
makes this time. So
We're gonna.
yes, and I'm going to write to CONCACAF and said you need to stop this. Enough
I
is enough.
I can't
Done
wait for
enough
December
CONCACAF work.
when we make our team of 2024 in December. I cannot wait. Our Concacaf teams of 2024. I think because I think Pinnock deserves to be on it.
Yes, it's a disrespect, man.
Mhm. Do you have any players on the women's side you think should be on the list going for this
On
next
the women's
cycle?
side, Dumornay,
Hmm.
Bonisha, instantly go back to it. The
Hmm.
USL is much better this year, much better this year. And
Hmm.
worst off, they have a CONCACAF competition here, so that's
Yeah.
going to favor a lot of players. All right, so um, what's up? I have like 4 to 5 players, but I will
Okay.
take my time and work on them. Yes,
Hmm.
I think Giles goes back in. We just saw her at Olympics with
Yeah.
no points, and she said she's doing better than Drake. All right, and she did better than Drake. So based off that, Giles goes on it. All right,
Okay.
Sonnet, no, not Sonnet, no, not Sonnet. What's her name again?
United
Germa?
States. Germa goes on it. Germa
Yes.
goes on it. Yeah. Rodman, no, I am not into Rodman. Smith kind of fall off a little, you know. She's not on the ridiculous streak as before. I would say the midfielder, the same midfielder at Leon. So I will put her back in. I never liked her play in Olympics. Yeah, I never liked her play. Yes, I heard. Eagle Republic. If I don't sleep for one damn day, it's my. I said I'm going to do the video with the Africans so I can get sleep tonight. You know.
Uh,
Yes.
it's the
So
beauty of
I am.
live stream
Yes, I
podcasts.
am here and I'm doing my job. So let me do my job. What I have planned out for the day. I am
Indeed.
guys. Remember to make sure you hit like button. I'm not sleeping. So the fact that I'm not sleeping and I'm working so hard, please support African Stream. Give us the next 100 subscribers so we can reach the numbers. Don't know how
Yes.
much watch time is, but support it so it can go into algorithm because this is a good show. I've spent a lot of time on it. Africans spent a lot of time on it. You know, yes, he's
No,
gonna get
agreed.
new guesses. Yes, and then I'm going to disappear, you know, but I'm still here for now. So support the thing. Yeah, bless up everyone that's coming. Let's touch like and share to a friend and let we keep on building the platform. Yeah,
Indeed.
so I would have to sit down, look at everyone's numbers right across the world, and then come to my conclusion.
That's fair. I think for me, a player, and it's my baller. You know which one I'm going to say. I think she should. I think she'll crack it because I think she's going to have that type of a year at her club. Olivia Smith. I think
Ooh.
she's coming. She is coming, and I think the one thing with a lot of the young Canadian players, like we have this conversation with Jade Riviere, availability is going to be the key with her. But I think she's a type of player who could excel at Liverpool, either starting or in a we need to change the flow of the game, bring her on type of a player. And I think if she can have the year that I think she is gearing up to have, it might be a bunch. The women's team the prerequisite might be your club has to start have an L in it, right? You just mentioned 3 Lyon players, a gal from Liverpool, and then we'll see who else is there. But I
And
think
Bonisha from Man City.
yeah,
You,
there's no L in Manchester City, so
and
it ruins the thing.
to be honest, oh yeah, I would have gone for a goalkeeper just a while ago, but you said
True.
no goalkeeper in it.
Apparently,
Yeah,
according to
because yeah,
Concacaf.
because you have a goalkeeper that's performing well. So I was going
Mhm.
to go for a goalkeeper, but you said no, and I will leave it alone.
Oh, I think goalkeepers, defenders, CDM should be on this list, but according to CONCACAF, they never make the cut. But I think goalkeepers could be an interesting conversation as well. Alyssa Nair has been performing well for the U.S. Does she deserve to be on the list like this? I think so. And then you get to look and say, okay, what other emerging players could we see, say, from CONCACAF kind of move in? Like the same thing we said with the men. Is it someone who's not in the top 3 nations in terms of how they're playing, right? Can we see can Rocky Rodriguez make it into this list based off of another good year at her club and then country, right? Can we see more Mexican players kind of push through other than Ovalde and Lamont? It'll be interesting to see.
All
I think
depends on how they perform in CONCACAF. I'm telling you,
agreed.
because that is the balance now. No, you don't have to worry about the leagues itself. They are going to take data from the leagues, you know, but you have to
Yeah.
look at how they perform in CONCACAF. And how is it going in CONCACAF now? Are you up to date on it? Let me pull it up here for competition because I thought it's supposed to be close to the finals now.
Yeah.
Since they have battered Fraser's whip, I kind of felt depressed.
I understand that feeling all too well.
Yes, they destroyed Fraser's whip. Fraser's whip got so much beaten. I'm saying, oh my God. Okay, so it's close to the finals now. May 25th,
Yep.
2025. Okay,
Eh,
okay. So they just leave it to the semifinals and they push it off to next year. Tigres, Portland Torrens, New York. New York made it to the finals. Yes, they gave how much they gave Jamaica? 13?
It was an unlucky number, regardless of what it
Yes,
was.
it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. And then we have CA. I don't know what CA is. I have to go and check it to make
That's Club
sure.
America. That's Club
Club
America, is
America,
it
Club
not?
America.
Yeah.
Okay, Club America. So Club America versus New York, and then we have Tigres versus Portland Thorns. So
Mhm.
Portland Thorns and New York, I thought that both of them would have made it, and yes, they made it. So yeah, so that means Tigres is the Mexico, right?
Mhm.
And then three American clubs.
Yeah, because no Canadian club was gonna make. We had one Canadian club, and it was basically an elite
No, but more
academy.
Mexican clubs. More
Oh, but
Mexican clubs, you know.
that's not
Right.
to me. That's not really a surprise based off of like the leagues. I would love to see. I don't know if they have enough time to open it up more. I'll be curious to see how, like, for example, what Canada does with it now with their new league coming. Are they still going to run it as just the League Two teams, or is it going to be the league winner in Canada that moves through? It'll be curious to kind of watch that as that goes. But yeah, I think we'll see the balance of it, and we'll see more. And I think that's the good thing with the Concacaf Champions Cup for the women. We get to see more of the players that we don't normally see unless they're playing for their national teams. And I think give more players their exposure, right? You
Yeah.
have that. And I think give them a platform to play, which is what we've been saying in Canada for years. And I think when you do that, that opens the door for so many possibilities and such great options. So I think it'll be good to see. But
And just to add to that, guys, CONCACAF is going to become one of the biggest competition. This ladies competition is going to kick off next year so big because a lot of English decides that they want to come over to American League. So the League of America is getting so big so fast. And some of them going to Mexico as well because you saw players from Spain in Mexico and stuff. So
yeah.
it's rising fast, people. So make sure. All right, guys, we have 20 more people inside the house. Massive respect. We saw Africans cat. I don't know what kind of name is that. So Africans, you have not run through the comment section. We have not
Oh,
chopped the comment section. We do so we
let's
can.
do it at
Yeah.
least to say hi to everyone. Omar Fallon, good to see you. Yes, we will talk about that when it comes. DJ Gigs, thank you for letting us know about our stream problems, but we are working it well. All right, know yourself. Thank you for being here as well. Letting us know Pulisic and Bunny will win. I hate to disappoint you, but neither of those answers is correct. But one day they will be. But this past year they were not, because the two winners were Adalberto Carrasquilla and then Melchi Dumornay were the two winners. And we talked a little bit about whether we thought those were deserving or not. So we went. Eel Republic is so concerned about your sleeping
Yes.
patterns. What
For
good friends you have.
for one day, I have not gotten so much sleep. It's like they want to get me off the internet. They want
At
me on
least
the
your
internet and
friends
they
are
don't want me on
concerned
the
with you.
internet. No,
At
but
least
you either want me on the internet or don't want me on the internet, because every single day I've lived my normal, decent life with my lady and perfectly okay. And now I'm out here for one day and this man says I'm not sleeping. I don't know what to say to him. But thank you for the concern.
Chris Smith is in the building. Always good to see you. Always good. Brian Burke is here as well. And then the character known as my cat, apparently, which is interesting.
You're rapidly becoming famous, you know.
I will say this though. Ironically, not even ironically, so at my university, I was friends with the university I went to in Canada. They had one of the top wrestling programs. So like in the country. So I became friends with some of the athletes, and like if you didn't know that they wrestled, they looked like they were the kindest, most innocent looking people. And then they let you know, oh no, I wrestle. I'm the captain of the wrestling team. So no last name, but one good friend from there. Her name was Emily. I won't lie. She looked like the most innocent person. She scares me. And that's why I'm a dog person, because she told me I couldn't be a cat person anymore. And she went to Commonwealth Games and she gave this poor Cameroonian girl 13 straight points. And I watched it live. I was like, yep, I'm a dog person now. So ironically, I am a cat person by definition, but out of fear, I'm a dog person because I can't. I don't want that smoke. Emily will come for me, so I can't.
All
I
right,
can't
bless
do
up everyone as you come in. Please do it like button. We had U17 to do. you're don't pay Africans cat any mind. All right. Yes, he's just making up stories. Yeah.
You know, one day we'll meet this person, and then we will just be like,
I think you met him already. It's one of the most annoying commenters in your chat. Yes, but we have decoded who he is.
we have
Yes.
decoded. We have
Yes.
decoded. But like we
Yes.
said, we talked a little bit about the Concacaf Players of the Year,
Yeah,
guys.
we
If you
giving
haven't
it
rewatched,
time.
yeah,
36 minutes.
yeah,
A lot.
we
Yeah.
we did come here to talk a little bit about the U17s, which are set in Dom Rep. By the way, Dom Rep is looking good for a host nation. It's as if hosting all those girls'
Houston.
tournaments was finally what did them well. And now, I mean, it rained. The pitch looked good still.
Oh my God, world class pitches, and Concacaf gave the city to them. You
Mhm.
heard Victor he's saying that all events that's going to be the hub for Concacaf, and I'm saying wow, okay, that's how it's going on. So
So,
Damer is just paying off everybody. Sorry, Damer people, but there is no way you can just turn up in football and just own football after 2.5 years. So Jamaica is an embarrassment. You understand me? And we have all excitement, but yet still, when this is what we should have gotten,
mm,
just have a good damn feel. We have the
mm.
national stadium, and we love excitement, but yet still they went to Damrep. I don't even know what Damrep is doing there, but they have a bunch of pretty fields because I watch the game. The game football is just plain quality
Honestly,
pitches.
so good, so good.
Oh my
And
God.
no Brian Burke, no. I not again good friend, but not no. You'll if I ever talk about any of my partners, it'll be the partner or the girlfriend in that sense. So you don't need to mind about that right now. But we're talking U17s, and let's actually get to we have the quarterfinals which are set. You said I would say you were right about something, and yeah, you were right about Nigeria versus US.
Yes, that
Um,
was from day one,
mhm,
because
and
Spain have a beating for everybody
mhm.
until the finals, you know? They are waiting to
Well,
beat.
I mean, let's look at the. I mean, let's go through the groups real quick, and then talk about kind
Yes.
of how we got where we did, because I think there's some interesting things that happened. I think based off of names, we'd say some teams underperformed. I'd say based off of their form and how they looked, I don't know if they underperformed. You're in a tournament and you weren't able to do it. So
Uh, you have teams that underperformed. Yeah.
we could say that. All right. So
Mexico underperformed 100%.
I
Yeah.
would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, Mexico underperformed. Even if they never qualified, I expected more from them. They should have done slightly better against England and
Mhm.
definitely Kenya. Blood. Kenya is known for long distance, damn running, not football. Tiki taka football. Kenya should not
Listen,
be beaten. I am
listen.
done with it. All right? That
as
should
as a
not have
as a
happened.
third member of the Africans podcast, we support Kenya when we see them, and we support Gambia when we see them. So when I saw Kenya play, I was like, oh, I hope they don't get like 6 from Mexico. And they got 2, and looking past me, I was like, well, did they see
That
when
game should have been
Wembanyama?
10-0 to Mexico. And that's a sad thing. They just lack the control, something that they had possessed all along. But they're just ready for CONCACAF teams. That's what I
Mhm,
realized. But maybe they're going to get better at U20s. But yeah, they were definitely a letdown.
mhm.
Who else is you thought was a letdown?
I don't know if I would say Brazil was a letdown, but I think Brazil left more meat on the bone in terms of their games than say like Mexico. They missed some chances, but I think Brazil left too much meat on the bone in their games where they kind of put themselves in that situation. But they were in a tough group. But let's go through everything and kind of go through. So Group A, Nigeria finishes top of the group,
Ecuador.
Ecuador, Dom Rep,
Friend.
and then New Zealand. This was interesting to me just because I feel as if, okay, John Jones, thank you. We'll see if we can fix
Yeah,
that here.
because the second person said that overall.
Mhm,
I've had some internet problems myself throughout the
mhm.
day, but yeah, I think it should be good now for me.
No, yeah, and I think mine, I think I can solve a little bit of it here. So we'll try to do that as we go. But I mean, Nigeria being one of the best teams in this group wasn't a surprise. I think my surprise was I thought Ecuador would have given them more of a fight in their game. Um, and they weren't able to do so. I mean, we look at these games here, right? 4-1 versus New Zealand to start, and then Valverde with 2 versus Dom Rep. Then the next game, I said, I mean, I went on your stream. I said I figured maybe Ecuador wins this 3-2 because maybe they have more of the possession, and then they just keep on feeding Valverde. Valverde was not there to be fed because they were just moving around.
Yeah,
and I think,
Valverde was like 45 minutes. 45 minutes she came off. Yeah,
but
she
I think
was
at that point the
struggling.
coach looked and said, "We're not getting anything from this game, so let's just call it as it is." Because at that point, Nigeria was just moving. Nigeria was really just moving and just kind of playing the ball really well. So I think it worked out well for how Nigeria wanted to play. But I think ultimately, when it gets down to it, then you get to the third game, Nigeria versus Dom Rep, and then Ecuador versus New Zealand. In terms of what's going on, I think I'm not surprised by Nigeria winning. Ecuador beating New Zealand there. They were my top 2 teams. I thought maybe Ecuador could have gotten a little bit more. I thought maybe they would have drawn that game, but Nigeria, looking how they are, Nigeria to me is at these tournaments are what I look at and say what Mexico is at CONCACAF levels. They are constant and they have a system. It's pace. Sometimes
Yeah.
it frustrates you,
Yes,
but in this
Peace.
tournament,
peace and
it's
more peace.
like you expected more. And like, I think their game against Dom Rep, where it felt like Dom Rep was, yes, they're playing for pride. It's their last game. But that was the type of game where I was like, I expected more of that type of a performance against Ecuador than we got. But I think they performed as well as I thought they would, and they did a good job. So ultimately, no issues with how this group ended up. For you, not surprised with Nigeria, Ecuador doing well. Dom Rep, there, no surprise for you. This kind of came in as chalk for you.
For me, Damrep was just playing because they got the free third spot, which Haiti and Canada was better blood, but they got that position. So I wanted them to get beaten, but after seeing the pitches, I've changed my mind. I thought that they had some beautiful
Good
pitches,
grass.
and Jamaica is an embarrassment. You understand
This,
me? Yes.
that's what
After
changed
seeing
your
the
mind. You
pitches,
saw
yes.
a
After
nice
seeing the
pitch.
pitches,
You're
after
like,
seeing the
okay,
pitches,
you can
I have
lose
said
1-0 to
yes, you
Nigeria.
can yes, you can lose now gracefully, but Jamaica is an embarrassment because we can't have one damn pitch, and Damrep has like 50 pitches. That's all better than Jamaica one damn pitch at the National Stadium. You understand me? So
Yeah.
I figured that out when I saw it, and I said, you know what, they are doing something good for a CONCACAF. So if you have to give up the 80 or the Canadian spot because the Canada team thought that they could have done something, they could have done better than New Zealand. They look better than New Zealand, and I think Canada is better than Ecuador as well. I think Canada would have beaten both of them, if Canada dropped in the same group.
I would agree. I think they would have looked better. I think the only question would have been how would they have fared against. There's aspects of them where you say, okay, they would have had players because like Annabelle Chukwu would have been on that team, and then you would have had some of the younger players coming through. But then I don't know how they would have played with the speed that Nigeria would have had. I would have hoped in that game. I would have hoped for a draw, but we're talking.
They're a better passing team than Nigeria. They're better and they're comfortable passing the ball. Don't be surprised if they would have caused Nigeria all sorts of problems. I saw Damrep got away from Nigeria 2-3 times, and Damrep cannot pass the ball like Canada. Canada will give Damrep 10. 10.
No, agreed.
Yes. So Nigeria is very fast, but the technical ability, I still think is just around 24-25%. I revisited and I dropped the technical ability. Technical ability is very low, and it's going to be seen against the United States. But because they are so fast and they can press with less players and stay back, Ibrahim and Adebayo, they are 2 of the best midfield center backs. They are just blessed with center backs and wingers and forwards. Just the midfield, they are struggling. And now they have Taiwo. Taiwo looks very solid in their system. Mashoud is like one of the players of the tournament. She only scores tickers, some 50-yard shots. you know. So yeah, she's going on good. So what I saw, I'm not surprised. I thought that Ecuador would have beaten both of them, and in which they did. They smoked what 4-0, 4-0.
New Zealand, yeah,
New Zealand, they smoked
yeah,
New Zealand. Yeah, so I think it worked out the exact way. Spain will just dog walk Ecuador. Ecuador has players, but they are not reached at that development as yet.
mm,
Spain players, them are borderline professional players. You
mm,
understand me? So they're just here to refresh people memory who they are, you know.
yeah.
Yes, so they are not here to play with people. Yeah, so I had no problem with a group at all.
No, agreed. Group B, you had, I think, what looked like what we thought was going to be the group of death, and it was a group of death, but we just didn't think some teams would have gone as quietly as they did. But Spain winning the group again, Spain has a habit of just saying 3 up, 3 down. United States in second with 6, and then Colombia and South Korea with 1 with their draw game. I think Spain again. Spain is a machine right now. They are on one, and at all levels they look good. So wasn't surprised with their result versus the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I felt
They're
that
the
they were
better
going to.
team. Yeah.
Yep. And then as you kind of went through, I kind of looked through it. Then I think
Colombia.
South Korea. If we want to talk about a team that disappointed, are we expecting more out of? I think South Korea.
South
going
Korea, yeah, it was a disappointment as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you told me a team in a team at a U17 women's tournament is going to score 1 and concede 11, you'd say, yeah, I could see that. You know, all respect with my Kenyan sisters, I would have said it's probably going to be
Yeah,
Kenya, right?
yeah, and I think South Korea would not have been one of those teams because we always expect them to come with a good team, at least
Yep.
organized and can pass, you know. But maybe just the group that they dropped in was the problem.
Mhm.
And as I saw, the team that they drew with was Colombia. You
Yep.
understand me? So that tells you that they're not bad, but the United States team is just very good, and Spain team is just very, 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 very good. You know?
Indeed. I mean, Spain 5-0, then 2-0 for the U.S. against Colombia, and then 5-0 against there, and then a 2-1 game for Colombia. Spain has had to play games in this tournament where they had, other than the Korea game, they had to fight and come
No, no,
back. So
no. They weren't fighting in that game. That
but
2-1 game against Colombia.
look, okay,
Colombia,
let me.
let me explain something.
Okay, yeah.
Colombia should retire from football and continue selling drugs. Sorry.
What?
I hate their football.
What did Linda do to you?
Their
What did
football
Linda do
is
to you?
horrible. Their football is horrible.
What did Linda do to you? Like,
Africans, please take your time and go watch that game. It's the worst game. All they tried for 90 minutes, Africans. From the game, 2 minutes, go back on my stream because it was all games playing at the same time. I said 2 seconds in the game, there shall be red cards for Colombia.
okay, I'm not disagreeing with you there, but what
They
I'm
don't
saying,
play
so
football. That's all
so
I'm telling you.
so let me
Anti-football.
rephrase. Let me rephrase my statement. I
I'm
felt
tired of this.
Listen, okay, so yeah, I agree, Eagle Republic. This is someone Linda Caicedo. He's seen too much Linda Caicedo because Linda Caicedo has played every tournament in the last 8 years. According to, I'm sorry, I am going to speak like Billy. In the last 18 billion years of FIFA youth tournaments, I see Caicedo. U17, I see Caicedo. Olympics, I see Caicedo. World Cup, I see Caicedo. U20, I see Caicedo. Caicedo here. Madrid, I see Caicedo.
I saw her a couple days ago as well playing the Champions League.
I
Then I
told
saw in
you.
La Liga. Why she can't just stop playing football? And she's like 13 years old. How is that possible?
No, she's not. She's 19, 20. Look, I think my point on Spain was out before we were hit. See, and you want to come after me when I expect and demand the best from Nigeria by always saying these are the things
Africans,
you
just
need to
press
improve.
report. Just press report on the Spain game, and you're gonna see. Colombia, in the whole 90 minutes, Colombia does not complete 100 passes. Just press report, and it's sent you to report. I am
saw the game.
almost certain they made more tackles than passes, blood.
This was
That
not
is not football.
this wasn't a Colombia point, but we're making it a Colombia point. The point was, I feel that Spain is equipped for the quarters and the semis because they've had to play 2 games where they are playing with a team where they have to try to find a result at the end and get a goal. Yes, you might say that against Colombia, though Colombia scored first, Spain was dominating possession throughout the game. I'm not denying that, but to still have to work through and then get those goals, I think will be it's character building in that sense. So I think they are a little bit better. I like them entering this round. Now watch them somehow lose to Ecuador. They won't. They better not.
Look,
But no, because
Africans, Ecuador getting 9 or 10 from Spain before the game start. And when the
Valverde is
game
going to turn
finish,
into
it's
Valverde,
going to be
and then we're just going to
15.
be like, look.
Af-
My point is this. Whenever I get behind a team publicly, it all goes down for me. So
I
I'm
know, but
saying,
I'm telling you, win that bet before the game starts.
okay,
Spain beating them. I remember Spain rotated heavily for the Colombia game, and
they
they
did.
still
Yes.
dominated the game. I think
Mhm,
that exposed the squad that they do have.
mhm.
United States did similar, and it shows the squad that United States have as well. That's why I always believe that United States and Spain might have a way to end up back in the finals as well.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
And
just
and
because
if
they
it
have
goes there,
Nigeria. Nigeria can clip their wings.
Because Nigeria clipped them the last time.
that's true. That's true. But yeah, I think they are best suited for
Oh
that.
my.
But we'll see kind of how it is. And then South Korea, we
I'm
talked
very
I'm
about.
sorry, Colombians. I'm very sorry. I made a wrong mistake.
Yeah, he's don't worry, he won't be repping any teams from South America. Don't worry about that. He's no, that's a lie, because technically speaking, Suriname is in South America, but it's not
Yes.
part of CONMEBOL. So that's his Maginot line. He reaches, if they speak Dutch, he's in. If they don't, he's out.
Oh
Dutch and
my God.
Creole for Billy. Only the best apparently.
Africans making up stories on me now, people. People, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I am bringing you the facts. I have watched the games every second.
I
All
was
right,
trying to
every second.
I was trying to make
And
a
I'm
point about the
telling.
resilience of
So,
Spain, and he
so
turned it
why
into
you never just put the stats up so people could see that I know what I'm talking about? You try to avoid it so people can talk about me talking about selling drugs.
You made the comments. You made the comments. Okay. I'm here trying to have a family friendly stream here. And you're just like, listen. No, Group C. Let's talk about another disappointment. Mexico.
Hmm.
Let's talk about them. Um, this was a tough group. I think we looked at this group at the beginning and figured, okay, Kenya made
Yeah.
it. Good for them. But Kenya's finishing last. I love you guys, but you're finishing last.
Yeah.
North Korea has decided to reinvest into women's sports. Good for them. England was a side that you could either have had a solid team or a team that disappointed. And Mexico, we saw what they did at the U17s. So we expected a good performance from them. I mean, 4-1 to North Korea, giving that up was a bit of I didn't see that as much of a surprise. I think for me, I started to look at Kenya differently when they held England to a 2-0 win. Right? They played well defensively, and I was just like, oh, my ears perked up. It was like, this could be interesting. But then I realized they were playing North Korea next. I was like, well, I had hope. So that's done. That was done. This game, the 4-2 loss Mexico had against England,
I
that
think
to
that's what
me,
broke them.
yes. I agree. I think if you're Mexico, you lose to a
10 player.
10-sided team with that type of talent, that I think that was a disappointment. I think they should have shown better, and that's really what did them in. Because after that, it was just they were done. North Korea then said to England, "Crumpets aren't cool." So we'll just kind of we'll walk through there, and then Mexico losing to Kenya at the end. I mean, Kenya made Mexico look like Mexico makes some countries in the region look when they're passing the ball, because it was just like pass. This is Kenya, right? Pass, goal. Kenya, where has this been all my life?
All right.
Good for them. This is not. We're not trying to just We're just not trying to just rag on Mexico. I think they're still a good side, but I think we can't look at them and not say that. I think their tournament here was a little bit disappointing. Can we not?
Yes. But even though you beat this, you know that Mexico had almost 70% possession in this game.
73%, to be honest. Kenya
Hey,
25%.
listen,
So Kenya just attack it.
Kenyans
you
are
know?
efficient. Okay, they'll get what they need
Just
and then they'll
counter
leave
attack. This looks to me like the Japan versus Spain game
at the World Cup.
in the
Yeah.
World Cup. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So the Kenyans, they have a strong stamina level, so they can soak up pressure and just run at you. So they are upgraded Zambia.
No,
They are upgraded
no,
Zambia with stamina. They are not going to burn out none at all.
no. Don't ever compare those two things because that would
What did I do?
because I'm still waiting for Zambia's back line to enter the game still. Because Australia just scored against their senior team again. They just scored against them because they just passed through. Okay, They just passed through.
Congratulations to Kenya. They defeated my other country. One of my countries. So I will actually just give it a little break. So yeah. Yes, and Africans is okay with that. Once it's not Nigeria winning, he's okay.
No, I hold Nigeria to a high standard. If they say they carry the banner for Africa, then carry it with no holes. Okay.
Well, they have been doing it, because
at the
they
youth
are
level,
the third
no doubt.
place. They're the third place. You hear it jump up at the youth level. So Nigeria just carried the banner at the World Cup for ladies. What are you talking about, Africans? They were knocked out by.
This was not even you know the context of what I'm saying. I'm saying at the youth levels, they are a constant. If they don't make the quarterfinals, it is a disappointment for them. If they don't make the semis, I would argue Nigeria, it is a disappointment for them. They are that good. Their system is good. They are well trained. So when they're carrying that banner, that's the banner of
you sound like you're giving credit now. You just sound like you're giving. I think you're a slight shading Nigeria. I'm not letting you get away with it.
I haven't said anything about flight yet. So the shade isn't here. Okay. I haven't mentioned aerial traveling yet. So when that comes, you'll know.
Wow. All right, people.
I am not going to stay here arguing about Nigeria. Yes, so let me stick on topic.
Group D, you have Japan, Poland, Brazil, and then Zambia. I think Zambia, if you were concerned with Brazil, not to say that, like, again, this is U17s. And with the caveat, as I will always say, this is a snapshot of a youth system. This is not all the youth players. There are probably other youth players who are going to develop and be better than these players. And maybe these players will develop and they'll be the next faces of their sport in their country. But I'm not going to say, because Brazil didn't make it, women football in Brazil is doomed. No, just like the same thing I'll say with Mexico. Just like the same thing I'll say with Nigeria. Just because they're making quarters doesn't mean that it is nothing but success for them. You have to develop, and that's going to be the key for them. I think this is encouraging for Zambia because we've seen what their senior program is, and based off of their defense, yes, they gave up 7 goals and got 1, but if this was a senior team, I'd say they are making progress. Progress. I'm not even joking. Just send the entire back line to the senior team. Okay, let them learn. Okay, because it cannot be worse. Australia just scored again against. They just passed through the back line. They scored again. That game is 11-12. Okay, that game is 11-12. Still going on.
True. Big up yourself, Ari Vibes. Yes, man. Bonnie would have won it if not for injury. Bonnie was not in the Champions League. Ari Vibes. You can just love people and just love people. Dumornay was better, and that's it. Nothing else. Just get to it. All right. Yes.
All right, but then we look at that Group D. You have Poland and Japan drawing, which I think was a good signal for Poland was going to be good defensively. And that game, Japan beating Brazil 2-1. I think that's where if Brazil Brazil left that game because that was a quick turnaround. It was 4 minutes and then they were then they were down 2-1.
From leading to 2-1 down. Yeah, that's definitely bad.
And that was the tough part. And then Japan gets the 3-1 win. Poland draws Brazil. I mean, in that game, Poland's goalkeeper, I mean, those are the best hands in this tournament to me. Based off the group that they played, she has the best
they
hand.
didn't. Sorry.
Okay, all good. But I think she has the best hands in this tournament. I think that's gonna help them move forward. But you have Poland and Japan moving on. Brazil, I don't worry about Brazil in the same way because it's a youth tournament. But I mean, Brazil has it feels like the NWSL is like, yo, assembly line, next one, bring her in, next one, bring her in. As that NWSL keeps on growing and they keep on adding teams, there's more opportunities for not only the American players, but those international players who are saying there's money there. Everything big in America, let's go. And I think Brazil has been taking advantage of that. And this is a thing where I've said with some clubs, I mean, you have to really look to take advantage of your geography, right? Look, what is it? Orlando Pride in the NWSL. It just feels as if they said, we got Marta, let's go get a couple other Brazilians. We'll bring over Barbara Banda and we're just going to have a good time. There's a pathway that's there. If they added more teams in down south, I would not be surprised. And what would be wise if you were, say, a country that's trying to develop players in, say, the Caribbean, make some connections with a southern team to get your players into that club and just have them just stew on the bench for a year and then get them up and start to play. But I think that is not a surprise for how they've kind of finished and how they look. And that leaves us with our quarterfinal matchup.
Yep. Let me look at that. Yeah.
You have USA versus Nigeria, Poland versus North Korea, Spain. This is so disrespectful. And then Japan versus England, Ecuador.
It's really two games, to be honest. I think the Spain-Ecuador game, that's called, and Poland versus North Korea. Even though Poland is good and solid, as what you said, defensive, I think North Korea will win that one as well.
That I would not be surprised. Like I think goalkeeper wise, I think Poland might have the best keeper in this tournament. But when North Korea is clinical, they are clinical. And so for me, do I trust the best goalkeeper in the tournament or do I trust a team that has been clinical throughout the tournament? My gut says I want to trust the goalkeeper, but my head is saying trust the team that's going to be clinical. So I think the only game I think for me that is safe is Spain versus Ecuador. Unless Valverde turns into Valverde, every version of Valverde
Spain
that's out
versus
there.
Ecuador, yeah.
I think Spain is in the semis on October 31st.
But I will agree with you on the Spain game. I think Japan-England game, Japan will be the favorites in that one.
Agreed.
But England will not be a walkover. England is a fighting team. They have speed. Japan is always having a problem with speed. So speed and strength will kill them, and they're technical enough to play with them. Nigeria's United States, I think, might be the closest one out of all of them. Even though I think the United States is way more technical, but they don't move the ball fast enough and control it fast enough to stop Nigeria from winning balls at the pitch, and that will always give them back a chance in the game.
Yeah. So I think so we've both taken Spain in that matchup. Japan versus England.
Slightly favor Japan, but I would not be surprised if England knocked out Japan as well.
In my mind, if Japan, the winner of this game will tell me who's in the finals. Because if Japan wins, I think Japan might be the only team that could take Spain. If England wins, they may be familiar, but I'll take Spanish rice over fish and chips all day, every day. So I'll take Spain. If it's England versus Spain, I'm taking the Spaniards, and I'm not even hesitating with that. And I'm picking up to make the finals, and then it comes down to who makes the finals from there. So I think that game will determine. I'm going to go with, not because I want to see them in the finals. I'm going to go with, I want to see this matchup. I'm going to go with Japan winning over England because I want to see how Japan matches up with Spain at this level.
Okay. All right, I can go your location. All right, Irie vibes. I heard you. Irie vibes. You know, Irie, you just change the name to Irie Jamaica, and just talk about Jamaica only. You know,
I
because
thought
we're
that was
talking
why
about
he had
other things.
vibes.
Okay, but oh my god, but can he not talk about some of the games in that year? You know, to add to the conversation.
We'll see.
All right, so yeah. All right, so yeah, I agree with you on those two sides. We move on to the next one so we can
get to the big one at the end and wrap it. Yeah. So North Korea, Poland. Again, I've brought up the point. I think if it's either a conversation, do you trust the team that is probably the most clinical, or the team that I would say has the best?
And it looked like you're gonna split because you're trying to go for the best goalkeeper, which is true. Quality goalkeepers are good in this competition. I saw that and I agree with you. But if you're giving away in behind runs, that itself is important as well. And two players in behind with North Korea eye controlling rate of the ball, I want to say that I would prefer the North Korea as well because I think they will get more opening. So I'm gonna stick with North Korea so far.
And I'm going to go with Poland just because I think, yeah, I think one goal out of, and then a game where it's save, crossbar. Like, this game is either ending 2-1 or 1-0 Poland, or it's ending 6-0 North Korea. There's no in between. It's a tight win for Poland, or North Koreans are taking everything and the dog. So that's where it is. And then USA versus Nigeria.
For me, I think this goes back to penalty. Yeah. Because USA have Nigeria can push USA into errors. I don't see them playing straight through them. That's Nigeria. I don't see Nigeria playing straight through United States, but they have the ability to get through them, regardless of playing through them. So I see USA dominating position, but Nigeria still have majority of the actual goal mode actions. But because they lack the control of the football, I would say that they still score 1 or 2 out of 10 chances, but United States still scores back on them, and maybe 2-2 going into penalties.
I'm going to go, it ends before penalties.
Okay.
And
you can.
I'm going to go Nigeria. I'm going to go Nigeria wins it. Why is this the shock? Why is this a shock to you? There is an African side that's alive. I am backing them.
What? Okay, yeah. Well, I have a newfound of understanding now that you like Africa more than we eat Nigeria. All right, so John Jones says no.
John Jones, don't Jesus USA. I like what I've seen from them.
Yes, I think they have so much forwards. Blessings is a forward. Karim is a forward. Then you have Chidi is a forward. Then you have Peace running up and down all over the place. And then you have the midfielders that are slide wing forwards as well. So they have a lot of forwards. So if they can just stay in the middle and say they're blocking lanes and turn into a 6-4 outfield, they will kill United States because the United States can't play through the lines because they would have 6 deep and just get it up there on the counter. I think the counter is going to be problematic. I would love to see how the United States track those lionesses down the park because they are going to run them. They're big, fast, strong, powerful, you know. My goodness, man. It's going to be a good game. Let me see.
Well, it's going to be a good
United
game for
States.
sure, for
It's
sure.
part two of the
Yeah,
clash.
First installment went to Nigeria. Yeah, so let's see. Oh, if Kenny the Full and those girls out there waiting, so they need back revenge. They need some Nigerian tears because they shed a lot of tears. Yeah, because a lot of good players were on that team.
yeah.
That last Nigeria, I saw a lot of them even playing professional now. So they are upset.
I don't know why there's this narrative that says that I don't like Nigeria.
Africans, oh, you mean you don't know this now?
I
The
don't know why
man
there's
that
this
steps
narrative
up
out
every
there.
day within a
I have
crowd of 2 million people watching.
listen.
Yes,
I
Nigeria
have
is going
been
to
nothing
lose.
fair but consistent with my assessment of Nigeria. I feel like there's
Okay,
always something that they can improve on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
okay. No, but you just said you don't know why everybody, people, Jones in Africa, um, Alolana in Africa, everybody knows that you're the resident eater of Nigeria.
I don't think that is
Okay, well, he said he doesn't think that's the case. Well, I am very sorry. Well, no,
listen.
you're converting people. You're converting
I
people because everyone
apparently
was surprised, and you come here. Oh, I never knew that was the case in really Africa. Oh my God, this brother is something. The man said he
listen.
never knew.
I said I'm picking for the record. I said I am picking Poland to win. And then I said this game has two type of outcomes. I'm picking the one where Poland wins 1-0 or 2-1. But it would not shock me if North Korea wins this. If North Korea gives Poland a spell check and they say, how many letters are in your name, Poland? 7? Okay, cool. 6 doesn't matter. We're giving you 6. So I am fine. I'm picking Poland to win this tight, but with North Korea wins, it's going to be a blowout. That is the reality. See, and now see, it doesn't matter because
Alulana
Nigerians have,
knows. He knows. Yeah. Africans,
well, of course they know.
they are here for years. Listen to it. Africans, you can't tell people what's in your brain and your action don't match it. And they are not here for now, they are here for years and more of 4 years. They are here with us, and you're out here making predictions, and your face does not tell the difference. Let me leave you alone because I don't want you to say I am the one that make people think you don't like
Oh
Nigeria.
no.
Let me leave it
I'm
alone
well
because
aware
your
that people have
action.
these.
Alulana, you guys need to clip him from 4 years now. His statements that
Listen,
he comes out with
listen.
his innocent face. Oh, I don't know what people why people think that I don't
I
like
I
Nigeria.
I am I am genuinely
Brother,
concerned
you are
with this.
from Ghana, and Ghana
Yes,
and Nigeria fighting for the best rice.
I
You know?
stopped that fight when Sierra Leone came with a better taste. Okay, there's no need. There's no need for war. Okay, we are good. Okay, listen. My criticisms of Nigeria cannot escape me. They are
Okay.
permanently on the YouTube, and my response to that is, I said what I said. But in this tournament, I can recognize that they are playing well. And outside of Spain and North Korea, I think those are your top 3 performing teams: Spain, North Korea, and Nigeria. You put them in that same conversation with, say, like a Japan, and say, I think they could. Any of those 4 teams, I think, can go on and win this. The question is going to come down to matchups. If they get past this, I think they have an interesting run because
Korea,
I
I think they can beat Korea as well. If they beat United States, they're beating Korea. I think they beat Korea easier than United States because Korea does not possess the speed and power to trap them. And Korea will want to advance because Korea will believe that they're the better team. And those counters will give Korea 2 red cards. I promise you, if they play Korea, Korea gets 2 red cards because you can't do nothing with them. Korea cannot trap them and stop them. But I could see a game where Korea gets the ball under control and find a way to keep it away from them, which would be very good. And they could beat Nigeria easy. That is true. But Nigeria could hurt Korea. I don't think Korea can trap them if they have the ball and going forward. I don't see it. But I see USA being a better matchup for them. So once they pass there, I could see them going straight to the finals.
I understand your logic there. I still think Korea beats them. If Nigeria makes that, I still think how I feel about Korea is look, I'm picking Poland to win. If Korea makes it out, they're going to the finals. I don't see anything from the US or Nigeria that says I
All right.
trust it to go. But that's just me. I picked Poland to beat Korea because I can't have North Korea winning everything now. Okay, because youth girl tournaments are basically
No,
just
man. Spain is here waiting for them, man. I'm not so over the top impressed with Korea, you know.
and that's
So,
you cannot be. It's true.
but I recognize that they are one of the top two teams.
Mhm,
They have looked better than Nigeria with the technical ability, but their speed, the threat that speed offers, I don't
mhm,
see them having any answer. And I can see Ibrahim and Adabayu stop their forwards, like literally run them
okay,
down and take the ball from them. But they are
okay.
so good with technical passes, they can pass it around them. That is true, you know. So that's why I said I could see them hurting them, you know. Yeah, but
Mhm.
it's a time for the big boys then, no? So it's time for Nigeria to step up and showcase, be brave and just showcase, because all of
Yes.
these teams you're going up against are higher rated teams than you. So you just
Yeah.
go there and give your all. Just go there and give
Mhm.
your all in all games.
No. No, I listen, okay? You haven't lived my life, and that's all I'm going to say. Some of this thing is rough, and that's the comment from DJ Gigs. But no, I do agree. It'll be interesting. There's nowhere to hide. You're in the I'm too big. I'm becoming too famous. They're remembering things I say now. Of course someone will. I'm giving you all the possibilities. I think as a semi-analyst, have to give you more possibilities because that's how it
All
goes.
right, Billy's dog. Oh my God! All
Also,
right, so
and can Billy's dog and African's cat have a conversation? I would really appreciate that. I think it would brighten my day. Um, no, way too early because we won't know till next week, Sunday, which I look forward to. We're gonna stream that one. I'm hopping on that stream with you, and we're gonna
next
talk
week
about.
Sunday the finals.
Yep.
Okay, okay. Well, all I know that the 26th will be fire. The
Mm-hmm.
27th will be fire as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if Nigeria goes on to the next round, oh my God, Korea and Nigeria will be a good one. You know. Yep.
True. But if you
Oh,
had to pick a winner right now, since apparently I'm just saying someone will win it, according to your dog, somebody will. Just- Who is
a
your
winner, a
yeah?
winner.
You
I would
have
say
to pick a winner
Spain
right now.
repeats. Spain repeats
Okay.
a winner, because I still think they have more speed than North Korea in their team to stop Nigeria. They can nullify Nigeria with passing because they're better at passing than Korea, but they're faster than Korea as well.
Mhm. Spain is the favorite to me, and I think it's logical. That's where my head is going. Um, my gut wants to hope for something else, but it goes against every one of my predictions. So I'm just like, well, this is going to be fun. Um, so I'm going to go with Japan. I'm
Okay.
going to go with Japan winning it. I'm going to go with Japan beating England and then beating Spain in the semis and then going to the finals and playing whoever this comes off from the top end of the bracket. That's who I would go with. DJ Kick says if Nigeria gets a win over the US, they could win the tournament, in my opinion. I think that's a fair assessment. It depends how you rate it depends how you rate North Korea and Poland. John Jones jumps in and says, I think North Korea will win it. They look formidable. I think they look formidable. I don't know if they look as dominant as they did, say, at the U20 level, but they certainly look like a unit that's going to at least reach. They'll be playing. North Korea is a team, which I know, crazy. They look the part of a team that will be playing November 3rd. Whether that's the third place game or the championship remains to be seen. I don't think they'll reach there because I'm picking Poland. So Poland, don't give up six, please, please. For me, don't give up six, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, I think either the shouts are there. I don't think any of us see England. If England somehow wins this, I think that would be the biggest surprise. out of that, because I don't think we have any. I think the biggest surprise would be if Ecuador somehow won this, because we have no faith that of that happening. If Ecuador beats Spain and then beats Japan and then beats someone in the finals, Valverde did things.
Yeah, and that's not happening at all.
No. So I think we will go there. We'll wrap it up, guys. Let us know again. First half, we talked about, well, it was a half. The first section, we talked about the Concacaf Players of the Year, Dumornay and Carrasquilla. We talked about who were their players who weren't nominated. And also, when you're on the rewatch, tell us who you think should be nominated right now, moving into that 24-25 season. We gave some names to keep an eye on. Make sure you guys do that as well. And we'll go from there. Spain tends to struggle with South American teams, though. They do. They struggle with teams that can match them pass for pass. And I think it'll be a good time for that. And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm going Japan winning this way too early. You're going Spain. And then guys, let us know your predictions. The games don't start till Saturday. So Saturday, we'll see them. First game, it'll be fun. I'll be in the comments telling everyone that I picked them. I'll be in the comments telling them that I picked Nigeria to beat the US. So then I'll be criticized for picking Nigeria because apparently I don't support Nigeria. I do. I just don't think that they can get away with some of their style of play on the men's senior side. I won't let that cloud my judgment of their women's sides, who do everything well at the youth levels. And when it gets to senior levels, sometimes scoring can be a problem. But they are still, for me, the best pound for pound women's team in Africa. Not even a conversation. All right. And with that, guys, on the Nigerian coach, are we the thing with the youth level with Nigeria that I
DJ Gigs? Go ahead, Africans.
No, the thing that I like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think what I like about them at the youth level is every game you see them come and they are tactically schooled and ready to go. They are a side that I find at the youth level, they have a strategy and they execute it. So I like what he's done at all their youth coaches, their girls youth coaches especially, the Flamingos, they all look great. Because whatever team they're playing, you can see from the get-go what they're trying to do, and they're effective in doing it. I think when it comes to their senior team, I think sometimes it works, but then they just aren't able to. They don't have the goals, but they have the play that looks good. That's how I would say it. Billy, what do you say? And then we'll wrap it up here.
I don't know which coach he's talking, what level he's talking about. So I can't answer it, to be honest.
Well, go with what you've seen from them at this tournament. What have you liked?
Okay, U17 coach he's talking. Yeah. I thought that he's better than the average local coaches. He's more organized. They have more time with the team. So I like it a little bit more than the next average ones them from Nigeria.
No, that's good. That's good. Yep, we were talking U17, and that's what it is. So, guys, let us know who you're picking to win this tournament going through. Enjoy that stream. You're gonna be streaming the Nigeria game, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I will be in the comment section for that. So don't hurt me too badly there, guys. No, it's all good. But yeah, we'll be there and we'll cheer on the game as we go. Pick the winner. You pick the winner. Okay, who's your winner? JD's dog, Billy's dog, Trevor's dog, whoever's dog.
Billy's dog. Have a good night. I am done. All right. Yes. African said he's finished a while now. I am done because I've gotten 2 texts, so I have to leave before Africans. Yes. Okay. I'm going to let Africans do his thing then, since Africans not finishing. So
I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Don't worry.
All
right. So guys, any team left? Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for being here, and then we'll see you guys at the next one.